So a recruiter emailed me and asked me, he said, do you have any sort of word tracks that I can use so that I can get business from a client without seeming like I'm desperate? And I said, okay, let's look at a thought model of how we get business from clients. Let's just say you've already had first contact with a prospective client. Maybe you're marketing a candidate and they didn't have a need, or you're doing a reference check or whatever. So you're talking with them on the phone. What you don't want to do is say, Joe, you have a budget. I need money. What searches can I work on to take your money? That's a withdrawal. You want to ask that same question, but you want to phrase it in terms of making a deposit. Just like I always say, every relationship that you have has an emotional bank account. You want to put more deposits than withdrawals. Your thoughts when you're talking with prospective clients should be something like this, and this is a delicate balance. Part of you should be thinking, you're so lucky that I'm calling you right now because of the value that I can bring to you. You need to have that confidence as a producer, even if you're brand new. If you're brand new in the business, just pretend like you're a big biller. I'm not talking about being cocky. I'm not talking about being arrogant. I'm talking about being confident, knowing that you can solve that person's problem. Even if you're not sure, just pretend that you can. Just start thinking that way, and you'll eventually be able to. It'll catch up with you. So part of you is saying, I can serve you. You're so lucky. I'm giving you my time. Out of all the companies in the world that I can talk to, I'm giving you my time. I'd love to work with you. Balance that with also the humility of knowing that you're not perfect, but you also don't need to brag about yourself. You know, really, as a top producing recruiter, you don't need to brag about yourself. It doesn't matter what other people think about you. It really doesn't. When you're good and you know it, what does it matter what other people think? When you're good and you know it, people will seek you out. You want to become the type of recruiter that is so good that even when other search firms aren't getting business, they're calling you. Always look at the fruit on the tree. People will always gravitate towards those things that have true value. So let's just say you're on the phone with a prospect. Let's say you did a reference check. How do you make that segue, that transition into how can I get your business? You ask this question. You start with this: how are things in your market right now? You're just starting with the question, what does your crystal ball say about how your hiring is going to go next quarter? That's a good way to segue from, okay, we're done talking about this, let's talk about business. I always like to ask that question because everybody loves to give an input. Everybody loves to talk about what they think. You as a recruiter, they know that you talk to other people just like them, so you might have information that can help them. They'll probably ask you after they tell you. They'll say, what are you hearing? Then you can share with them. See, what we're trying to do, we're getting to the level of trust. There's a process. There's 3 steps. First, you've got to find things that you have in common areas of interest. It could be industry information. It could be relationships. You know the same people. It could be a common client that you have. It can be that the fact that you live in the same state, went to the same college. Find something that you have in common with someone else. That's your first goal. And one of the things you can do is talk about the industry. That's a safe place that you can talk where you have things in common. Start with that question. So what do you think your crystal ball says about next quarter in terms of your hiring or in terms of your growth? He tells you, he'll ask you, what do you think? Well, that means that you got someone that wants to play ball. When they start asking you questions, now you're playing a ball and you're just throwing it back and forth. It's just a dialogue. So the first step is to find things that you have in common. The second step is this: start building some sort of a rapport. That means asking them questions. Well, how's that going to affect you? Now, how long have you been there? Where did you work at before? And then you finally move it into the place that you have some trust. The question that you ask, instead of saying, do you have searches I can work on, or what are you looking for? Ask them this. Say, you know what, Joe? I'm finding a lot of movement among some very good people right now. If there was someone that I should pick up the phone and call you and tell you about, what type of person would that be? You ask them that. You'll have clients that say, well, we're not looking for anybody, but if you find a senior claims analyst, I'd want to hear about that. Aha! I was coaching someone in my mentorship group that's starting a brand new niche in healthcare administration search. The company did not have any openings, but he's talking to the CFO. He asked him that question and they got a search. Even though it was not a search that had gone through HR, the CFO needed to get someone and he gave that search to this recruiter. Remember, don't say, what do you have that I can work on? That's a withdrawal from the bank account. Instead, say, let's just say I find someone that you would get really excited about. I'm seeing some movement of some very good folks. What type of person that if I see in the market, I should pick up the phone and call and tell you about? They'll say, wow, thank you. I'd appreciate you keeping me in mind for such and such. Let me know how this works for you. If you can get search assignments and job orders from clients using this phrase, shoot me an email. I'd love to write a story about you. Good luck in getting those searches.